Welcome to the course on student psychology. Especially now we are into learning the first module on teaching learning process. In this module, I am going to discuss about the following: the definition of teaching, training and learning. We are going to have an extensive look at the teaching model developed by Robert Glaser. We are going to discuss the various domains of learning, the laws of learning established by Professor Thorndike, the various factors that are influencing the student learning. Moreover, we are going to see the most important principles of teaching and learning and critical teacher behaviors that are very useful in the teaching learning process. An old proverb says, "1,000 teachers, 1,000 methods." We are going to look at the basics of teaching, training and learning. Let us look at the definition of teaching. Whenever I visited an institution for conducting a program for teachers, I would ask them whether they selected teaching by choice or by chance. Most of the time I got the reply, by chance. They are students the previous week, becoming teachers the next week or the month. There is a saying, a doctor wants his son to be a doctor, an engineer wants his son to be an engineer, a lawyer wants his son to be a lawyer, but a teacher wants his son to be any one of the above. Many of us, including me, selected teaching by chance. When I entered into my classroom as a teacher for the first time, I had so much of anxiety as to how I will handle the class. The only thought that comes to the mind of any new teacher is when I will get out of this classroom. This is mainly because the beginner teacher is highly uncertain about the nature and characteristics of the students he or she is handling. We did not have any formal training in teaching when we all entered our teaching careers. More so, not aware of the basic definitions of teaching, training and learning. Now let us look at the definition of teaching. Teaching is defined as an interactive process primarily involving classroom talk which happens between the teacher and the student and occurs during definable activities, thereby resulting in learning. Let me repeat this definition for more clarity. Teaching is defined as an interactive process primarily involving classroom talk which takes place between the teacher and the students and occurs during definable activities, thereby resulting in learning. This is the most formal definition of teaching. Let us look at the various components in this definition. The first one is, it is an interactive process. The second component in this definition is, it is between the teacher and the student. The third component is, it happens inside the classroom. The fourth component is, all the activity that the teacher going to undertake inside the classroom should have already been defined. And finally, the most important part of the definition is, the teaching should result in learning. Teachers engage in explaining activities, guidance activities, demonstration activities, order maintaining activities, mental hygiene activities, record keeping activities, assignment making activities, curriculum planning activities, testing and evaluation activities. Look at the kind of activities that the teachers are engaging. One of the most important activities which is listed here is the guidance activities, where we are going to focus more. We are now going to learn about the basic teaching model developed by Robert Glaser. There are 4 components in this model, namely instructional objectives, entering behavior, instructional procedures and performance assessment. Let us look at each one of the components in detail. The first component, namely instructional objectives, are spelled out in the curriculum, and the teacher has to understand the instructional objectives to deliver the appropriate instruction in the class. Instructional objectives are very essential in the teaching learning process. Coming to the second component in the model, which is entering behavior. Before starting any teaching, the teacher has to assess the entry level knowledge of the student before venturing into any new topic. So, the teacher is to have both the subject knowledge assessed as well as the psychological status of the students before he starts delivery of the instruction. The third component in this model is instructional procedures. Instructional procedures basically consists of 3 M and a P. The 3 M refers to methods, materials and media. The P refers to instructional planning. The teacher has to plan for the method that he is going to employ in the class, the material that he is going to use in the class, and the media that he has to prepare and use inside the classroom. And planning is an essential part of the teaching process. The last component in this model developed by Robert Glaser is performance assessment. If we tell our students that you will not receive any certificate at the end of the course, there is no necessity for them to come to the class and get your instruction. Performance assessment forms an integral part of the teaching learning process. You can see the feedback loops in the model which ensures that the instructional procedures, entering behavior and instructional objectives and performance assessment can be relooked into. This is a model, as I indicated earlier, was developed by Robert Glaser. Please note, this model is an activity oriented model. It is not based on the teacher personality, but it is based on the activities that the teacher does inside a class. Now let us look at the definition of training. Training is an organized activity aimed at imparting information and or instructions to improve the recipient's performance or to help him or her attain a required level of knowledge or skill. Training is basically a short-term activity. It is expected to have immediate payoff, and training is the term which evolved during World War.